Will Ariana be the villain on the next season of Vanderpump Rules? Lindsay and Carl's friends go to Mexico for what should have been their wedding day, and an update on Kyle and Mauricio's separation. Hey everyone, welcome into Shared News. We are breaking down the biggest headlines in the Bravo sphere. But before we get into it, if you are new here, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any Bravo updates. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright. Friends of Lindsay Hubbard and Carl Radke are partying it up in Mexico, but a bit under different circumstances. So this weekend was actually supposed to be Lindsay and Carl's wedding. They were supposed to get married on November 17th at a resort in Mexico. It's called Unico 2087 Hotel Riviera Maya. Some people that are posting that they're in Mexico are Kyle Cook, their former Summer House castmate, as well as Gabby Prescott, who is also on Summer House. One picture that I found particularly interesting was a picture of Kyle, Sheena, Carl's mom, and Carl's stepdad. So I just imagine it being a little bit of a weird energy, especially for Carl's mom and stepdad to be there, all the while in the back of their head knowing that this was supposed to be the weekend that their son got married, the place that their son got married, and instead they're just going on a vacation. But when news broke that they had called off their engagement, a lot of people wondered what the guests would do because the rooms had already been paid for, and at that point the story that was out said that the rooms were non-refundable. So as we can see, some of the people still went on the weekend celebration, just used it as a little bit of a vacation instead of a wedding weekend. Meanwhile, Lindsay Hubbard posted the morning of what would have been her wedding, a video of her dancing to a song that says, "I will love myself." And the caption says, "Today I woke up and was reminded that I am smart, capable, genuine, thoughtful, funny, kind, empathetic, authentic, strong, and beautiful. It's a great day to celebrate myself." Switching gears to Vanderpump Rules, Ariana Madix thinks she might be the villain in season 11. At least that's what she said in the comment section of a TikTok. So the season 11 trailer was posted on TikTok where one user wrote, "Mark my words, everyone is going to hate Ariana this season and develop a soft spot for Tom." Ariana responded to that comment directly and said, "Certainly wouldn't be surprised if the audience swings that way." I find this super interesting, and there's a lot to break down just in one particular sentence. The first thing that this commenter says is everyone's gonna hate Ariana this season. I think it is a bit of a disadvantage to Ariana that they had to film so quick after the scandal had broke. I believe it was like 1 month after the reunion aired that they had to turn around and go film again. Her emotions at that point were probably still very high. Now, on the flip side of that coin, the audience isn't going to see this until almost 8 months after the fact of the reunion, So the audience's emotions when it comes to Scandival, I believe now are in a completely different place than they were when we were watching James Kennedy scream, "Your worm with a mustache." So some people might look at Ariana's actions this next season and say, why is she so bitter? Why is she being mean? I personally am not going to think that way, because I think if I was Ariana and I was in her shoes and I had to film with my ex who ruined my life and humiliated me on national television, I would be a little ticked off too. The second part of this quote, develop a soft spot for Tom, I kind of think the fan base already is. I feel like some people just have Scandival burnouts, and at this point it's like, how much longer can we bash Tom over the head for this affair? People make mistakes, and you don't have to like him. You don't have to go to his restaurants. You don't have to go to his shows. It's like, but the constant vitriol and online attacks, in my opinion, are a little over the top. So yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to feel that way. So like Ariana said, certainly wouldn't be surprised if the audience swings that way. I guess we will have to wait and see. On this week's The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we got more info on what is causing the cracks in Kyle and Mauricio's relationship. And a lot of it, according to Kyle, comes down to sobriety and lack of support. So on this episode of Beverly Hills, we got a lot more information, and a lot of it came out at this lunch between Dorit and Kyle while they were in Las Vegas, where it kind of boiled down to two things, according to Kyle. She said, first, I think a lot of it has to do with I expected more from him for what I was going through. Kyle said that after talking about all of the family drama that happened last season, specifically with her sister Kathy. She also said he loves to go drinking. There's a lot of business events where I'm supposed to go and be the wife and be supportive. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to go to these parties. I don't want to wake up a few years down the road and be like, who are you? What are we supposed to talk about now? So obviously Kyle's sobriety journey is playing a factor in this. She said they are kind of growing in two different directions. Mauricio wants to go out and wants to go to all these business parties, and Kyle wants to stay home curled up and read a book. So we're definitely starting to see the beginning of the cracks here. And in real time, Mauricio went on the Skinny Confidential podcast to talk about what was going on in the press when it came to him and Kyle. He says it's out of control, the amount of stories that are coming out on a daily basis about, everybody wants to know what's going on with my marriage. He says, I do too. He says, and it doesn't change on a daily basis. If we're separated, that means we're giving each other time to allow things to happen. And the tabloids right now, they want to write a story about it every single day. And I get calls and I get stopped and I'm like, guys, it's just not happening that fast. While I can understand where he's coming from, I think he also needs to be self-aware enough to know that he was just caught red-handed holding hands with his Dancing with the Stars partner. And, Kyle Richards is gallivanting around Beverly Hills with Morgan Wade, getting ice cream, calling the paparazzi on themselves. So it's like, what do you expect when you're putting yourself in these public situations and it's playing out in real time on this season of Beverly Hills? Mauricio said he's not watching those scenes of Beverly Hills about his and Kyle's relationship. He continued in this podcast saying, when I know what I'm doing with my marriage, I will let all of you guys know. Until then, everyone can take a hike and bleep off, pardon my language. So Mauricio is not here for it. And I guess we just have to live with that. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Lisa Barlow is addressing claims that her son Jack ditched his mission in Colombia after he was spotted at a TJ Maxx in Orange County. So right now, a big storyline on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is Lisa Barlow and her son Jack, who is of Mormon faith and has decided to go on a mission with the LDS Church. It was revealed in one of the episodes that he was going to Colombia. While Lisa wanted to be supportive of her son, she also was a little bit fearful because Colombia is far away, and she said she thought it was a pretty dangerous place. Well, somebody on Twitter said they saw Jack at a TJ Maxx in California. This is what the tweet said. It says, I just saw Jack Barlow at TJ Maxx / Home Goods in Tustin, California. He was wearing his LDS badge and was with another missionary guy. The missionary guy was shopping. Jack was on the phone. Apparently, Jack wasn't interested in discount shopping. The fan went on to say, I'm guessing Lisa didn't let him go to Colombia for his mission. Instead, he went to the Irvine Tustin, literally one of the safest cities in the entire United States. So Lisa very quickly came to her son's defense, responded to the tweet and said, hi, Jack had to wait on his visa. So temp Spanish speaking in California. She wrote, still Colombia. Very active imaginations. Another fan came to her defense on Twitter saying they send missionaries to different missions sometimes while waiting to send them abroad. We had one over the other night, and he was here for a couple months before heading out to the Philippines. Not that odd. To which Lisa said, thank you. His visa was delayed with a heart. That's it for this week's Bravo headlines. Be sure to leave a thought, a comment, an opinion in the comment section below. What do you think of Sheena Shea posting a picture with Carl Radke's mom? Do you think that's gonna ruffle Lindsay's feathers? Did you like this episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Are you ready to see Ariana enter her villain era? We love to hear from our shared news family, so leave a comment below. If not, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, ring the bell so you never miss out on any Bravo updates. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, and we will see you back here on Shared News next time.